Good morning, Brian King here. If you happen to be watching me live on Facebook, please comment #live. If you are watching the replay, please type #replay. I'm trying something a little different here. I want to see if I can broadcast live on my business page and also on my personal profile. So just give me 1 second. I want to share it to make sure people in both places can watch it. And here we go. As you know, I'm really big on resilience, helping people bounce forward from adversity. In the Buddhist tradition, there is something called the bodhisattva, which is somebody who is committed to relieving the suffering of the world and the people around them. And that's something I feel strongly about. I want to take every opportunity that I can to relieve the suffering of somebody else, even if for a moment. And one way I do that is when I come across a service professional, whether it's the person helping me at the McDonald's drive-thru, I know there are healthier ways to eat. If it's the person serving my family and I when we go to a restaurant, if it's the cashier at the grocery store, it doesn't matter. One thing that I understand about the day of these people is it can be pretty monotonous and get pretty boring. And boredom can lead to suffering. It's just that blah feeling. So one thing I like to do is to mix it up a little bit for these folks. Bring a moment of happiness, put a smile on their face. So if only for a moment, they remember what it feels like to be noticed, to matter, to just have a little laugh. And yesterday I was getting the oil change for the car, and I was feeling just in a very playful mood. So the gentleman behind the counter was, helping me out, charging me, whatever. And they ran some cleaner through the car, and it had a nasty smell as a result. And the guy said, well, your car is going to have it's going to produce this rotten egg smell for a while until all the cleaner gets through. I said, hey, no sweat, man. My body does that all the time. My poor wife. And he says, oh, dude, that was too much information. I said, seriously? Like I'm the only one that ever has that problem? And he, just kind of lightened up a little bit because that was a very raw kind of interaction. And then after that, he says, well, your car is in pretty good shape considering the kind it is, because engines like this tend to have a lot of leakage. I said, oh, man, my body does that all the time. I know what it's like. And he says, oh, man, this conversation, whatever. And I said, hey, we're, two human beings just talking. These are human problems. This is something that people can relate to. He says, man, I've been doing, this job for a long time, and this has been a long day, but I'm going to remember this conversation. And, for whatever reason, but I mixed it up for him, regardless of how it is. Like, here's another example. You're going through the drive-thru to pick something up, and the person says, hello, so welcome to so-and-so, can I take your order? What if you said, yeah, I'm happy to give it to you, but please, first tell me, how's your day going? Now, for some people, maybe they're in their groove, maybe they're in the monotony, but you mix it up just a little bit, just to show them that you're paying attention to them as a person, man, snaps them out of their doldrums so easily. If you have a sense of humor and you can crack a joke and make somebody smile, that makes a huge difference for people. You don't have to, paying it forward is wonderful if you have the means. I'm a big fan of paying for the person behind me. If you are able to, pay for their coffee, whatever. But let's say you don't have those means. You can make a difference just by showing up. Just remember that you're dealing with another human being who's trying to make it through life and can really use a smile and can really remember that they're being noticed. Asking somebody, how are you today? How are you doing? Seriously. Tell me how you're doing. And sometimes, if the wife and I are not in a rush and we're at a restaurant, sometimes a person, the server will come up and I'll say, so what's your story? Tell me about you. And they're not used to that. And one thing that really happens a lot is by the end of the time at a restaurant, we know what this person's life goals are. We know if they're also going to college. We know if they got kids, because we care about them as a person. It's not just, all right, we're in a hurry. Can you ask the cook to put a rush on it? And, it's not transactional. It's an interaction. It's a collaboration. It's a shared experience. It's a shared moment. And you can make it so special for other people just by being human with them. One thing that is really important for resilience is knowing you are supported, knowing that somebody else cares about you. And a day that's monotonous, that's bored, can feel lonely. Because when you feel bored, it's because there's no real input coming in, There's nothing happening. You don't feel connected or engaged to an experience. And even though you're surrounded by people, like at work, you can feel disconnected and feel a little alone because you're bored. But then someone like you shows up and connects, even for a moment. You remind somebody that they're part of something else. Simple little interactions like that. It doesn't have to be a grand, sweeping gesture in order to make a difference in somebody else's life. You don't have to be someone extraordinary, whatever that means to you. Being special just means being human from one moment to the next with another human being. That's it. Keep it simple, folks. Hopefully this little tip has been helpful for you. I really want you to try this out if you don't do it already. And I want to hear what the result is. Hey there, Jim. Thanks for showing up. Make sure you watch the replay, dude. You are going to love this. And let me know how it goes. Let me know how it is for you. Let me know what kind of feedback you get from the other person, what kind of response. And share this with people, because we need to be doing more like this for other people. These simple things. Life, especially in America, has become far too transactional. As about, it's okay, Pam, you can watch the replay. It's become too much about, give it to me fast, give it to me hot, let me get on with my day, and we're not even paying attention to each other anymore. We're becoming a nation of strangers. We need to connect again in very simple ways. And this is one way that we can do that. To become, again, the family that we need to be for each other. To make our community tighter. So that's my 2 cents on this. Again, please share this with other people so that we can start doing this together. Very simple ways. And I have a group here on Facebook called Resilience Hackers, where I talk more about these tips all day long. So we can learn how to bounce forward together. You're absolutely right, Jim. We're interacting without connecting, and we can change that in very simple ways. So if you want to join my group, just put yes in the comments, and I'll give you the link to the group so that you can join us there. In the meantime, this has been Brian, and please remember, life is good